Hey YouTube, Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Griphogila Dark States Dragon Tree deck profile for post-Dragon Masquerade with the set 10 support we got for Dark States. Stoicheia and Dark States were the two nations to get the most support for added Dragon Tree cards. So with it we can go for more of a deck that focuses on the Dragon Tree markers and setting up the different orders removed from the game to then get the ultimate play with Griphogila and the Galmega Held over trigger for Dark States. Very happy with the results of the deck. We aren't running the Mask of Hydragram build in the deck. We're focusing more on just the other better generic support to work with the Dragon Tree markers. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. Our starter is the Griphocid, as usual, just with the option to place a Calamity card from your ride deck into the soul, and then once three are in, you can ride into your Griphogila and set up two Dragon Tree markers on the field, with our orders being the Start of the End, the Menacious Metamorphosis, the Looming Demise, and then our over trigger being the Hades Dragon Deity of Resentment, Galmega Held. So we have the needed setup for our over trigger with all three of the orders and our Griphocid. For the actual main deck, we're running the 4 copies of the Dragon Tree of Ecliptic Decimation, Griphogila. You have the option when it attacks to choose a face-up Calamity card from your ride deck, remove it. If you did not remove a card, choose a over trigger from your ride deck, reveal it, and activate all the trigger effects in addition. And during your turn, this unit gets +5 for each Dragon Tree marker on your rear guard. If you have 3 or more, it gets critical +1. So you need that additional Dragon Tree marker, which you can set up with Dragon Tree Wretch, Demon Sherider on the field also for that play. And just force, you can also do the Persona Ride with your Griphogila. For the new added support for the Dragon Tree markers, I'm also running 4 copies of Generous Evil Swordsman, Zelios. If this unit is on a rear guard with a Dragon Tree marker, this unit gets auto. When this unit intercepts, it gets +5 until end of turn, and also +5,000 power. So on top of the +5 that it gets from the Dragon Tree marker, your Zelios will also have a +5 from her own ability, and then the additional 5k shield, because defending is definitely a big part of the deck, so you want to have as many of the shield options you have with all of our different units that we run in the deck. That's why we're also running the 4 copies of Steam Mage Ashura on the guard circle. If your soul has 7 or more cards, it gets +5 shield. When this unit is retired from the guard circle, you may put this unit into your soul. So setting up some more soul as well to work with our Dragon Tree Wretch, Demon Sherider, is also a very important play of the deck. So just with these cards that you can also potentially call back out again, then you have just a kind of loop that you can do with this card. So another definite 4-of for that play. And for the last of the grade 2s, we're also running the 4 copies of the Brawl Field Hydra. When this unit is placed on rear from hand, if you have 3 or more Dragon Tree markers on your rear guard, counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 or less card from your soul, and call it to rear guard. So once again, what I mentioned before about the cards you can set up in your soul, like your Steam Mage Ashura, you can use your Brawl Field Hydra to then just place it on rear from hand, and then having those 3 markers going for a counterblast 1, calling out something else that was in the soul can give you more of that field presence you need. So this is a definite 4-of because you have to place this card from your hand onto the field to use the ability, and it says grade 3 or less. So as long as you have the setup in your soul, you can get anything aside from Griphogila back out into the field using this grade 2. For the grade 1s, I run the 4 copies of the Dragon Tree Wretch, Demon Sherider. When it's placed on rear guard, you counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards without a Dragon Tree marker, and put a Dragon Tree marker on it. So it can be another card that can be called out from the soul and still get the ability. It doesn't have to be placed from the hand. And on rear guard, once per turn, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can Soul Blast 2, choose a grade 1 or less card from your soul, and call it to rear guard in the same column as this unit. So then you get more set up with some of your other cards, depending on what you call out back onto the field again. It could be ideal for whatever setup you have, giving you the additional +5 shield or power on the rear guard circle as well. It all depends on what you build up with the soul charge power we also run in the deck, with one of those cards being our other grade 1, running 3 copies of Spooky Chirpy on rear guard when this unit boosts. If this unit is on the rear guard with a Dragon Tree marker, you can soul charge 1, and this unit gets +5 until end of that battle. So just boosting, it has has to be on that back row rear guard. So even if you call it in the back row column with your Demon Charioteer, it can provide the boost to that other rear guard as long as you place the Dragon Tree marker on the circle where your Spooky Chirpy will be. You'll get that soul charge to then be able to use the following plays with your Demon Charioteer to give you that more Soul Blast power to call out new cards into the same column as that unit. And also the 4 copies of our Sentinel of Choice being the Repelled Malice Dragon, just so we have the additional guard options with all of the other cards that we are running in the deck as well. And then for our last option being our orders, we're running the 3 copies of Pandemonium Tactics. You don't get the Final Rush ability, but you do just get the play with a Counterblast of 1, 2 Soul, Charge 4. So you'll get the Soul Blast 2 and then have the added options depending on what you Soul Charged into the soul of your Vanguard for additional cards to call out depending on what you Soul Blast and what you decide to keep in your soul. I wasn't running Mask of Hydragram or the Searcher Grade 2 we got from Dragon Masquerade in this deck just because all we really have with that is the add for Mask of Hydragram, and then it just adds another card. It, deck thins, but it doesn't really help us with any plus situations that we could do in the deck to begin with. For our trigger lineup, I'm running the new triggers from the latest festival booster. If you wanted to run any of the ability triggers, you can always replace them for some of the spots in this deck as well. So 4 copies of Swanky Enthraller, 4 copies of Interpreted Spinner, and then 3 copies of the draw trigger, which is the Silky Sky Actress. And then the final spot in the deck is the 4 Gambling Jugglers. Once again, if you wanted to run any of the ability triggers in any of these spots, you can just remove them. I do like the rainbow lineup because you get the 5k shield if you were running the ability front, and then they put into soul with the ability critical. Just had them in other decks and decide to use some of the newer cool looking triggers from the festival booster, but you'll get those extra shields with the front and the draw triggers, so definitely do recommend putting them in the deck for those plays. As for some of the other setup with your Griphogila on the Vanguard Circle, it all comes down to just the soul charge and what you get off cards like your Pandemonium Tactics, because then you use that order and the 4 you set up in your soul to then either call out cards like your Brawlfield Hydra. So you get the 2 Dragon Tree markers with Griphogila. You just need to have your Charioteer to give you that final one, and then you have all that set up with like your Brawlfield Hydra to then be able to call out additional cards onto those markers, having them get the additional +5 shield, the +5 power if you call out cards like Zalios, and then making full use of them for the guard option on the following turn when you intercept with them. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. Like I said, I did updates with the Dragon Empire and also the Stoicheia. I wanted to get around to Dark States as well. If there's any other deck you would like updated with the new support from Dragon Masquerade, definitely do let me know down in the comments below. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.